Thank you for listening to the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. Please support the show by subscribing to and leaving a 5-star rating for the show on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podbean, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, and any of your favorite podcast platforms. You can also support the show by going to our website, blackandgoldhockey.com, where there's always exciting articles by the B&G writing staff. While you're there, don't forget to click on the fanatics.com banner for a great sports fan shopping experience.
Hey, you done yet? We gotta start the show.
Bobby Orr, behind the net to Sanderson, Orr! Bobby Orr! Orr from the Boston Bruins!
30 seconds left in the period. The Bruins are shorthanded. Ray Bork.
Ray Bork from the face-off circle to the right of Reggie Whitman. Fired it down and Whitmore blew it. Did he ever? To Bergeron on the drive, save, rebound, he's loose. Sagan kicks him loose. Bergeron scores! Patrice Bergeron with the point of the dagger in their throats. They rip it out of Toronto's hands and kill the beast. The Boston Bruins have won it after being 3 down in the third.
What's up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. Whether you're a longtime listener or this is your first time downloading, we truly appreciate the support. This is episode 221, and we're recording on Sunday, March 21st, 2021, and the show is sponsored by betonline.ag. Please go to betonline.ag today and use the promo code CLNS50. That's CLNS50 for a sweet sign-up bonus, and you'll receive that you'll receive after making your first deposit. A little fumble there. We have another episode full of Boston hockey talk today. We're going all over the place for the Bruins pod and family on the audio and the YouTube viewers, the awesome YouTube viewers. You guys are the best. If you haven't checked out our Black and Gold Hockey Podcast YouTube channel, please do it and hit the subscription tab and notifications bell. You can also follow us on Instagram at Black and Gold Hockey. Enough with that silliness of a show, start of a show. We're going to come in hot with my friend, my best friend, my co-host, Heather Ingerson. Heather, what is happening, girl?
Hello, Mark. All right, I'm having a Sunday. Nice to be here with you, though. I promise I'm going to stay focused, though, regardless. How was your week, buddy? Happy spring. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I know it's a couple days late, but
yeah, it was good. St. Patty's was okay. Still not doing anything, still staying at home, doing the COVID crap thing. But I managed to get some green food coloring and make a huge pink wit with it, and it worked out great. I actually deleted the photo. I should have sent it to you, but no, actually I tweeted it out, and it was a very greenish, very St. Patty's Day drink, and it was a lot of fun. And the rest of the week was, the grind.
really good. Well, that being said, happy birthday to my man Barry, whose birthday was on Wednesday.
Nice.
He was a St. Patty's baby.
Wait a minute. Let me throw this up there for some other birthday mentions too. So,
okay.
Happy birthday to Barry. Happy birthday, sir. Thank you very much for allowing Heather to come in and do this every week. We really appreciate that. And a happy birthday to my friend Gene Hamill. He's a former Bruins fan, big Red Sox guy, but I know he liked the hockey back in the day. And also a birthday shout out to Sharon Santasoso, my friend Sharon. She's the lovely Sharon, and I miss her. So hopefully hang out soon. But
hello,
birthday shout outs all around.
Happy birthday to everyone. So are we ready to go? Because we can start with a couple other birthdays.
I actually want to come in hot with this recent item. My friend Cody, he's a listener up in New Hampshire. He listens to the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast all the time. Made a big ass purchase on our Fanatics banner on the website. Look at that.
Wow.
That is amazing. Cody, you are an awesome person. Thank you so much for financially supporting us on several avenues of what we do here at our Black and Gold Sports Media Company. And he's also signed up to be a Patreon. So that was just an awesome thing to do. So, Cody, thank you very much. I think I have everything the shout outs all set. So I think we can
All right.
actually start the show.
Well, thank you, Cody. I hope you got some awesome stuff with that order. Looks like you got some good stuff for your fan self. And thank you for always supporting. And everybody out there too. Shout out to all the shout outs to all the people.
Everybody. Oh, and speaking of Patreon, we're going to be giving this Wayne Cashman signed puck away later on in the show. So stay to the end to somebody that's going to be lucky. Comes with a COA and everything. Perfect. Love it. Let's rock and roll, Heather.
Okay, so let's continue with some birthday shout outs. I just want to say happy birthday to former captain Zdeno, turning 44. He's a beast. We all know that. And happy 76th birthday to the one, the only Bobby Orr. And today came in about Al Iafrate. I believe Chris Blackie said somewhere about his cousin. Al Iafrate, the master of the skullet, as Mark said. Happy birthday to you too, sir. So yeah, that one just came in this morning. So happy birthday to all our former greats. And I remember when Al Iafrate came, I was just so mad. I was like, how can I be mad? We have Al Iafrate. I was. This is the circumstances. It's okay. It's okay. Happy birthday, gentlemen. Keep on being the legends that you are. And anybody who doesn't know who Al Iafrate is, it's called Google Bitches. Look him up.
Yeah, the original hardest shot. I think it was. Oh, I don't even remember, but it wasn't even close to Chara's thing. But he was the original hardest shot.
Yeah, like him and him and oh my God, I don't know why. Never mind. Anyways,
Al
but yeah,
McGinnis.
Thank you.
Al
McGinnis. I'm going, oh my God, I can't think of the dude in Calgary right now who's one of the most awesome dudes ever and all his red hair. And I can't believe I forgot. I couldn't think of Al McGinnis. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You really
Before we go in and talk about the upcoming, last week's action, I do want to talk about show sponsor betonline.ag. BetOnline.ag is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. Football might be over, but the NBA, college basketball, and the NHL are in full swing. BetOnline.ag even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV. Real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline.ag has you covered for all the news, scores, and odds. It's the easiest and best way to place your bets, and it's free to sign up. Head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore, folks. Get in the action. Don't forget to use that promo code CLNS50. That's CLNS50 to receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline.ag, online sportsbook experts. Wow, I almost forgot that ad read.
I was thinking, did you already do the ad read?
People at BetOnline.ag. I'm sorry, we're coming in hot. We're happy to be here talking Bruins with my best friend and so on, but we're also just off the wall because hockey hasn't been. Yeah, we're missing some hockey right now, so we'll get into that.
I was thinking, didn't you already do the BetOnline AG? No. Like I imagined you doing it because I'm so used to you just doing it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that missing hockey. I saw the funniest tweet this morning. I was like, I miss hockey so bad. I walked up to this dumpster and said, "Go Red Wings." My dad was from Detroit, so I can kind of feel their pain being someone who has family from there. But I just thought that was funny because, it's funny.
Jesus. Let's get right into the freaking action we talked about last week.
All right, let's be serious. On Monday, the 15th, the Penguins beat us 4-1. They made us look silly, and I know everyone was all pissed at Yarrow. He let off 2 crappy goals in the first, but that doesn't excuse the 40 minutes after that the boys in front of him played. So those were my first 2 notes I had. Mark, would you like to discuss this game a little? Good, bad, and mostly ugly. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Grizzly scored the only goal on the power play from Marchand and Pasternak. That was the light in that whole entire game. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, they just right after that Grizzly goal, it was like they really stepped on the gas there and really contain the Boston Bruins from any effort to try to get back in that game at all. Disappointing, to say the least. It's not the way I particularly wanted to start 2 against a team on the road. That was on the road, right?
Yes, it was. They were in Pittsburgh.
So, yeah, I just wish that the effort was there a little bit more against teams like this. I know Pittsburgh's riding a high right now because of their new acquisitions of their their new general manager, Ron Hextall, and assistant Brian Burke. So they've been on a tear themselves trying to get, trying to play better. But so that's not an excuse. The Bruins have to show up. Injuries aren't an excuse anymore for me. Next man up mentality has got to keep it up. We got to find secondary scoring to get back into games, and we're not doing that. So pretty much it was a disappointing loss for me. And there's no excuse. I'm not going to talk about Yara right now. I will talk about him in the Duds and Studs segment. So that's it for me for that game.
I had two more notes that I wrote down. In the last power play with 4 minutes left, I mean, this game was gross, but like you still had 4 minutes left. It wasn't so crazy that you couldn't have still, at least made the effort like you're trying to come back, I am not the only person I'm not really. Pasta missed 2 perfect fucking chances on that power play. And the one person I wasn't mad at was Nick Ritchie. So I just wanted to say that because I know I don't love Nick Ritchie, but I do give people credit when credit's due. He was trying to make that power play happen. And like none of the finishers were finishing. And that was kind of to me, the kind of summed up the game. Like one dude trying real hard, everyone else like trying, but at this point, there's 4 minutes left. So what's the point? Everyone's defeated. They need to figure out how to get over that. Like I said, I don't care. Go get Daddy Chara on the damn phone on Zoom call and tell them, get your puss face off, get your asses up, get your puss faces off and fucking make something happen. Don't let it keep getting worse. And like, I feel like that's how our response has been. If it's not going our way, where before we'd bounce back, it was like, we've got this third period. We're not having that bounce back. We're having by halfway through the second, whether we might come back or we're going to lose this game, and they deserve to lose the game. And the other note I had is everyone kept saying on Twitter and stuff, they look like the 2015-16 Bruins. And you know what? I don't disagree. And you know what happened in February of 2017? February 8th, amongst a Patriots parade, Claude Julien got his ass. And now I'm not saying he was there a long time. And like Julien, he was here 10 years. So it makes a coaching change was needed either way at that thing. But we were a team that were going to probably make the playoffs and probably get knocked off in the first round, which is exactly what happened. I think we made the second round, but like it was the chemistry of the team, and it was the players that were comprising the team. And some of it, yes, is on the coach, but some of it is also the composition of the players you have. But yeah, keep that in mind, all you people. Well, I'm trying to not get my coach fired come, October of next year. Or if he deserves it, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, don't have your wish that we continue to look like the 2015-16 Bruins, because that shit was painful. It was like the chug along season. Like, oh God, like we're so mediocre. I don't want to be mediocre.
Was this the game that new Bruins defenseman Jared Tenorti took the hit from Tanev? Was that the game, or was it the next one?
I think it might have been that game.
Yeah,
because he didn't miss a game, right? Well, I think it might have been Monday's game, and he was back Tuesday. Like he played.
No, he's not. He's not back.
Then it must have been Tuesday's game.
No, it must have been Monday's game because he wasn't there on Tuesday.
But was he? But Thursday. That's what I mean, though. We played Thursday too. Did he get hit? I don't know.
No, he didn't play.
Let me look.
No,
I don't. I don't remember what.
Did you see the hit? Did you see the hit?
No, I did. Yeah, I just don't.
What did you think of it?
I think they did the right thing by. I don't know. It goes back to that hard. I don't think it was the same kind of hit as the Brandon Carlo hit was. Generally speaking, hard hits happen. Do you know what I mean? I think given what happened within the week, that's a way different hit than Brandon Carlo. I don't think that dude's that's not to me suspension, whatever. I think the penalty and actually addressing it on the ice, that's where it starts. And that's for the league to review. I did not think that was a dirty hit, but I definitely think it's one of those hits you should be reviewing the shit out of just to make sure if there's not supplementary or whatever. But I absolutely gonna compare that to like the Carlo hit or some of the other hits we've seen in the last week or two in the NHL. That was a hockey hit to me. That's what, to me, everyone was screaming Tom Wilson's hit was, but wasn't.
Yeah, well, I think the Wilson one was a lot dirtier.
Well, that's what I mean. That was a dirty hit. This was a hard hockey hit.
This particular hit, for me, was Tenorti losing his balance. Was a major factor to this and the impact. I don't think that when Tanev came over and made contact, I think that once that happened, it was one of those situations that Tonodi kind of buckled a little bit, but that, turned around to have his back hit the boards instead of going head first.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's benefit to that. Hopefully he's okay and so on. I know that has concussion issues before, I think at least one. So we'll see.
Yeah. But no, I didn't think that was as hot, that to me was more of what people say a hockey hit should be. You know what I mean? And like you said, those are the kind of things sometimes you're balanced, but I definitely didn't see intent in him going. He wasn't, I don't think, in trying to hit Tenorti. Maybe he took a little advantage of him being a little off balance. That's a different situation though, because everyone always says what ownership's on the person getting hit. I think most of the ownership is always on the person throwing a hit. That's just for me, because you're the one who can control, like I said, even if Brandon Carlo had hit his head, but Tom Wilson came in and tried to hold up and put himself against the boards and then hit him, that would have been a totally different situation than what had happened. In this situation, to me, this is the type of one where there's a little more ownership on the player themselves and the person hitting them, because again, I didn't see intent or anything other than trying to do a good hockey play, as opposed to some other hits. Again, not to keep using Wilson, but he's obviously one we think of right now because we're missing Brandon Carlo. That to me is the kind of play you're trying to get out. Not the physicality of hockey is good on the Tanev play as opposed to that play. And if Tom Wilson played a little more like that, maybe he wouldn't always get in trouble every 2 years or whatever.
Every 18 months.
Yeah. So anyways, that was a disgusting game. And I hope we never have to watch that game again, which we won't. But the good news is on Tuesday, we won 4-1 and lots of power play. I mean, they looked much better on Tuesday. Was that the one when Malkin got hit?
I think that was I believe so.
The second, I think it was the second game. But anyways, big news, Dan Vladar. Now, before we we'll talk about Dan and had his first, well, not his first, but I don't want to count the one in the playoffs with this poor kid's. He has a new contract. Oh, by the way, Tuukka's going home and you now have to start this game versus Carolina. That was not a good situation. I mean, I'm not mad at him, but this was a good fresh start to have a real, I know I'm going to start, be ready in the mind frame. But, everyone kept saying that they should start Swayman because they're hot. And I love goaltending, as you know, but I'm certainly not a goaltending person like you. But I kept saying, this is insane. Swayman is awesome. Loved it when we saw him at camp that year. Been watching him in Maine, obviously, because we're Hockey East people. He's doing great. He's on a hot ass streak. But being on a hot ass streak at the AHL level is not the same as having Sidney Crosby be your first opponent and having Chris Letang, Sidney Crosby, and Malkin just tool on your ass. And they have other people, Getzel, you could go on. Not a good situation, I think. Had they wanted to play him versus Buffalo, okay, but not versus. Dan Vladar has been around longer and he's earned that spot. And he deserves, his whole role should be the backup to the backup. And that's nothing against Swayman. Obviously, we talked about, I think the idea is they're the tandem of the future. But right now, if Tuukka's gone out of the tandem, it only makes sense that Vladar becomes the next part of the tandem.
Yep.
And that's just my thought. But anyways, Dan Vladar.
Yeah, I am full on for seniority when it comes to advancement. And this is not a knock against Jeremy Swayman at all. Like you said, he's having a fantastic start to his pro career, but it's his first experience at the professional level down in the American Hockey League. That is a little tough for me to see him just be inserted into a lineup and expect, the same results that he's getting in a different and lower league. I just think that, it's not about split time with who's with who and who's teaching who not, with the Senza and Dunham. They're all basically getting equal time and so on. But I just think that Dan's been around the professional game experience, whether it be in the coast, whether it be in the American Hockey League, and now he's got his taste of the NHL and even had it against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I believe that's who he played. So I think that him being prepared for this throughout all that time and the organization, breeding patience with this individual is paid dividends in his first game, and I'm so proud of the kid, man. I really am.
Yeah, it's been nice to see the slow progression because in our past, being Bruins fans, we've seen them kind of burn out goalies or not get them the right training. And, he's been given time to change the North American style and I agree with you. He's had more experience working with the coaches, and not only that, but just being around Tuukka and Yarrow or whoever, like the experience to help him become more. And he's not ready to be our starting goaltender, but he's certainly ready to be given more responsibility when it's time to give someone more responsibility. Because if not, again, what are you going to never let him get the experience? Maybe Swayman ends up being the starter in the future and he's the backup. You still want him to be the best him he can be.
Yep.
And part of that is sometimes, and I think it was a good challenge for him. Also, had our defense been more healthy or whatever, to me, that might have, I still don't think Swayman should have started, but that might have been, given how we've been playing up front, I think that Vladar is more ready to handle that if it gets sloppy in front of him with the Penguins kind of situation too,
And you heard Dale Arnold later on in the post game show saying that Dunham and Essenza really pushed to get Vladar that start. It's just a confidence builder for him. These guys are with him all the time. He's probably saying he's ready. He wants to get a game soon. He's feeding that freaking energy from being up with the NHL level right now, whether it be in the taxi squad, the third goaltender, or just traveling to Marlborough to playing games in the A. I just think that these guys were like, let's get this kid a taste and let's see what we have in him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because even if you're not going to put the actual title on him to be the backup or whatever yet, you got to start treating him like he is. He needs to be ready to be able to step in. And I'm sure that when they came back to camp, it's been very clear. I don't think Jeremy Swayman thought he's getting the start up if something happens to Yarrow or Tuukka over Vladar. Because again, one thing is people do understand a little bit of pecking order and experience. But what is good though is that, yeah, sure, Vladar's not playing now, but he's played enough professional games. If he does ride, if him and Yarrow have to keep splitting for another week or two or whatever the situation is, we don't really know. That's good for him. He can have little doses because Yarrow, the problem, I think with Yarrow started, he's not in the situation where he can still get you 15 games in a row. So it's good that they have someone they can rest him too, because you don't want to burn him out. And then if Tuukka comes back and now we're going into the playoffs and, near the end, I mean, what are they playing? 27 games in 40 days or something crazy now because we've had a few more gone. But but it was a much better game, I thought, on Tuesday, looking more like ourselves. Good, big win for him. Oscar Steen made his debut. Yeah, what'd you think? How'd he look up there?
The kid, I'll tell you, the kid's a freaking tank down below. He reminds me of, I saw a picture of, how Crosby's got some freaking decent, well-built legs. Yeah. Oscar Steen is a tank from the waist down, seriously. And that's probably one of the reasons why he got the call, because his positioning's been so good. I know Don Sweeney's been down in Marlborough when they have the chance to go to the New England Sports Center to watch these games and evaluate. And Oscar's definitely taking a big step in his development. Last year was his first year of 200 by 85 sheet ice. And I think that was a good adjustment for him. This year, he's taking that and he's getting a little more aggressive. He's winning board battles a lot more than I've ever seen him before. And it's probably because of that shorter ice experience. So, and he got the call, which is good. I mean, Oscar's been around since 2016. There's, I think, a 6th or 7th round pick. So, good on him. First game jitters. I mean, nothing really came out to me, but his speed was definitely noticeable, and his aggressiveness was noticeable. And he didn't take any shit either. So that's good. More time, obviously, he's gonna round out his game. He get more offensive. We're gonna probably see that shot that the NHL release that he has, because it is lethal when he uses it.
Yeah, I thought he looked all right. I mean, I wasn't obviously expecting much of him. Not meaning I don't think he's a good player, but I mean, what do you want? You're like the 8th defenseman, 9th defenseman up at this point, just kid, go out there and please help not make the bleed, help caught the bleeding. That's what we're looking for. And I think he did that. I mean, you can certainly see he's got those big old trunks Crosby and Krug and them, with just how big some of these hockey players' thighs are bigger than my body. They're just, they are the workout, but no, you can see the power in his legs. And yeah, I mean, it would have been great, maybe he got a goal or whatever, good for him, but that would have been icing. But I think it looked can't get much worse. And he did exactly what he needed to do. He went out and he played his role. Like you said, he was tough, which is something that it's so weird. We have plenty of people who could be a tough guy. It doesn't have to be like, how Frederick likes fighting. I'm not saying that kind of tough, but like, we just haven't looked tough on the puck at all. Like we just haven't. We give it over. Like people, no wonder why we got trucked a few games. No wonder why we lost to the Devils and stuff last week. But yeah, so those were really those. That being Pasta got a goal from Marshy and Grizzlick, and your boy Trent Frederick got the game winner technically because we won 2-1.
Let's just call him our boy, okay? Welcome him into your arms, Heather. Damn it!
I'm not hugging redheads. No, I feel I'm trying to like him, but he's looking like Dougie Hamilton. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, that's
no,
tough.
I'm only
that's
kidding.
Tough take right there.
No, I'm just kidding. Mark, in all seriousness, you know how much I hate Dougie Hamilton. I really would never compare him to Dougie Hamilton. No, but like I said, so your boy Trent Frederick. I say that because you love this dude. You're like, he's like your son. You love all the prospects. Just like a good parent, you love all of your kids equally ish.
Ish, I like that. Ish.
You're not cheering for Oscar Steen quite as hard as you are Trent Frederick.
That's
Nothing
right.
against Oscar. You want him to do well, but you're like, that's my boy. You're like dotting your hanky when he scores his first goal there. You're like, yeah, that's him. Yeah, so that was that one in a nutshell. Looked much better. Then we played Buffalo on Thursday. We won 4-1 in Buffalo. Oh, I want to go back to Monday's game. We were lucky that was only a 4-1 game. That should have been like a 10-1 game. We played like ass. I just had to reinforce it. That being said, we didn't lose to Buffalo, which is totally our trait that we would have beat the Penguins on Tuesday in great fashion. But Thursday, see Buffalo. If they had dropped this game, fill in the blank. If they had lost to Buffalo on Thursday, what's an emotion that you would have had?
I would be Ron Burgundy in a phone booth. I just don't understand how a team like the Bruins could, that there's a dumpster fire going on in Buffalo, and I don't want to be exposed to losing to something like that. So that would not be acceptable, and that's probably a loss that would probably be a little bit of reaction to what's to come before the April 12th deadline. It might, that might put a panic button on things moving forward here.
Yeah. I was thinking I would be like the Jerry Maguire flip out. Fuck this team. Who's coming with me? Who's coming? No, I'm just kidding. You. Sorry. Okay. Craig McKegg scored a goal again.
Unbelievable. Tap the McKegg.
Yeah. From Grizz. DeBrusque scored a power play goal from Pasta and Creachy. Smith scored from Creachy and Clifton, and Pasta scored a power play goal from Creachy and Marchand. Oh my God, I love me some David Creachy. Sorry, I had to say it out loud. We'll talk about him in a minute, but looked good. And Jack made his debut on Thursday on defense. Yes.
Jack Ashan, yes. He came up from the Providence Bruins. Has been looking good down there. He's real steady. He's a very small defenseman. So he's going to be compared to Torrey Krug. He's very strong, though. So the comparison's it's so close. But he's been doing so good down at Providence. And this is his first year coming into the pro hockey out of the St. Cloud State. And I know that I reached out via Twitter to his father, Tim, and just to say congratulations and so on. And it must be a proud moment to have him in there. But, I mean, to me, it was much what like Bruce Cassidy said in his post game. It was his first game. It was just it's an adjustment period for sure. There were times that he didn't look good, but there were times that he, did. You look at some things that he could improve on and so on. So, I mean, good on him. I believe that this was a if Tenorti could have gone, I don't think he would have been in.
Yeah, that's true. But still, again, just like Oscar Steen, I'm not asking too much of you. I'm asking you to go out there, give it, you get your chance, show off a little bit, you know what I mean? And do your job. Looking good. Yeah, he has been having himself a good year too. It's hard. I feel bad for the Providence guys because they do have such a shortened season against the same people over and over again. I'm glad they get it in, but still that's kind of hard. But also, how's the second line going? They showed up hard on Thursday, which I know it's like, yeah, it's Buffalo, but still like doing all sorts of the things that everyone wants them to be doing, or at least today's incarnation of the second line. Who knows what it'll look like if we ever get to play hockey again, or if they do. Yeah, but I thought overall good game. I mean, yeah, it's Buffalo, but they just looked better. Like you get worried, like the way they've been playing, I get worried. Like they looked like crap on Monday, and then Tuesday they looked good. And what were we going to get on Thursday playing that game? But that's kind of how it's been. So overall, though, pretty good. I'm glad we didn't lose to Buffalo. I just feel so bad for the fans in Buffalo. I feel bad for the people who have to play in Buffalo. I feel bad. Like I said, when Ralph Kruger got fired, this poor dude has COVID and then he gets fired. And I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think that's the whole problem. I think we need to really reassess before the city burns shit down.
This freaking Buffalo city and hockey team and organization and company, whatever you want to call them, just brings me to the movie Major League, when the female owner, it's like, this scouting staff is like, they're looking at a list of available players, and the guy goes, "This guy's dead." And he goes, "Then cross him off."
Yeah,
that's all I think about when I think about the Buffalo Sabres and how their operations are right now. Like, is it Terry Pegula, the wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like that freaking woman on Major League.
Well, this is the thing: is one, I can't be too harsh because they also own my Buffalo Bills. But this is what I will criticize them on: they have gone all in for the Bills fans to build them a fucking team again. Okay, excuse my language; it's a passionate subject for me, as you know. It was a long drought, and even though we didn't beat the Chiefs, sorry, no football, I know. But anyways, they also own the Sabres, and the problem is that they haven't put the same passion into the Sabres as they have with the Bills. And that's what they need to do, because I don't think they quite realize the hockey market that they're in charge of. I don't think they understand. We feel the pain of the Buffalo fans and the players more than I think their owners do. And that's a problem. And that's why that's a good comparison with the Major League. I don't think it's the malicious girl, but if they start putting we're going to win and start stripping her down in the locker room, I'm not mad at them either, But okay, if you're out there and you have no idea what we're talking about, just look up Major League.
Yeah, watch
classic American cinema. So like I not to go on to the Buffalo Sabres, but like I feel for them. Like they need help. They need help. Aren't we? Isn't our owner based out of Buffalo? Maybe he could buy them too. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez.
You can't own two teams in the same league, I don't think. But like maybe he can buy the Bills and they can put their money into the Sabres. I don't know. The Sabres need help. And when Kruger got fired, everyone was like, why can't we get fired too? Like it's like I really think Ralph Kruger went home and was like, thank God that's over. That was a fun experiment. I'd like to give it a try another time, just not there.
I wonder if Jack Eichel's happy about that
No, probably not, because by all accounts, Krug, like that's the whole thing, is the players all really like their coach. Can't they all just continue to suck together? At least they got a guy that like all the players love this dude. Like, I mean, sure, maybe as hockey coach is going, he's not the best in that, but maybe he can stay on as their inspirational coach of some sort. Cause yeah, I'm sure Eichel was thrilled. He's like sitting out back, and then he's like, oh, good. Like, he's like, I'm fucking out of here.
Another guy to take direction from.
Oh Jesus. My God, Jesus. No wonder. It's like, he himself is going, oh my God, it's like a woman who's getting old and you're like, are my ovaries drying out? That's what Jack Eichel's doing. My best years are behind me. What can I still get done from here on out? Sorry, that's a weird comparison, but that's what I'm thinking. After that, I would like to talk just about David Creachy for a minute, because on Thursday, he got his 700th, 701st, and 702nd assist, a point, not just assist. He happened to have 3 assists that day. Sorry, my brain got a little crazy. I just want to talk about David Creachy, because David Creachy is awesome and underappreciated, which was really a question I had for you. Do you think he's still underappreciated? Do you think his value, maybe people were reminded a little this week of why David Creachy, he's not our loudest player, but he's one of our most consistent players. Just a few numbers on him. He's 8th on all-time points with 702. He's 7th on all-time games played list. He's 18th on the all-time goal list, but he's really more of an assist man, and he's got 494 of those. He's 2 behind Rick Middleton, so I'm sure he'll pass him if they get to play again. And he's chasing Wayne Cashman at 516. The only other person.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Right.
We're
and
giving away a puck.
And
Wayne
then,
Cashman.
yeah, I know. When you said that, I was like, this is perfect for this segment. And Bergeron is ahead of Cashman. So obviously him and Bergeron are peers, and Bergeron will keep getting them too. But just why do people not appreciate David Creachy the way me and Chris Blackie do? I don't know. Is it because we always remember or no? Because what did I tweet? David Creachy's getting 2 goals tonight, 1 from me and Chris Blackie. Never mind. I meant he's getting us lots of points. Just Creachy's looked really good this weekend. I just want to.
What I find is the narrative is this guy's only an assist guy and he's making $7.25 million. So for me, it's the frustration comes with his base salary. And I think that's where a lot of fans gravitate to. They think that a $7 million player should be producing 100 points consecutively. Well, at the time when Peter Chiarelli made that deal, I think that it was that was a market price for a guy like that. Mm-hmm. And you can't go wrong with trying to be competitive at a certain time. Now, is he worth $7 million? I don't believe so, but it is what it is when you're under a contract. You have to abide by it. Now, if he stays an extra year or two, that remains to be seen. I haven't heard any rumblings of him being retained for further services as much as I've heard about Tuukka Rask and Yaroslav Halak coming back as a tandem. But, he's still a good player. He's an emotional freaking leader in there. He's a quiet leader, but he's somebody that can be approached to ask about experience for the young guys that are coming up and through the system. So whether he stays or not, I think he's a very underrated player as an assist guy and so on. And I also still would love to see him flipped around. I really want to see before he ends his career. I want to see without being an injury thing. Just hey, let's try this. I want to see Creachy on the front line. I want to see Bergeron on the second line. And I know people are going to hate it, but it is what it is.
I don't mind when that happens. My thing is with contracts, this goes for everyone's contract. Shut the fuck up, because you get signed in the year of what your value is. All right. David Creachy is still one of your top point getters on your team. Solid. Also, center's job, like if you have a center that puts up a million assists, and I'm not saying like Creachy, obviously he's had bigger years than other years, but he's still a point every other game, and he makes up it. Say if he goes a couple games, then he gets 3 points to make up for the other game, So I think that people really, the center's job isn't to score the goals. The center's job is to be the visionary that helps get the wingers in the position or their passes or whatever. I mean, yes, it's great. You want your center to score goals, but they're not supposed to be your 40 goal scorer. You know what I mean? Like their job is to put up 70 assists type of situation. And that's just my perception of it. Maybe I'm wrong, but like for me, that is his role. And he does that job still very, very, very effectively. And I think because he doesn't get a lot of goals, people forget that. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's not, he does do his job. Now you want to argue the money. Well, again, when he signed that, he was worth that. And he's still worth probably like we said, if he's still worth a $4 million on the open market, even as a veteran to a team. So it's not like his value is, he's not playing $1 million player style for the $7 million. Okay. Like he's just riding out the contract he was given in the beginning. And he's stayed pretty healthy, and he's played, Chiarelli hasn't been around in a while if people think about it, but Creachy has still been here, and his production might not be as high, but no players is usually that late in their career. I would love to see him get at least one more year. Like I said, I'd love to see him and Bergeron retire together, probably out the same year. And then we just, whatever happens. But so that's on. Like I said, I think David Creachy, 700 points. Like I said, I think people should look him up sometimes where he sits with all these people that we worship as Bruins fans, Wayne Cashman and the whatevers, look and see where Creachy sits before you totally think he's been overplayed. Go ahead, hon.
Awesome. And also what we should talk about is a valued member of life. And that is what makes the compass go north in no matter what season it is during the year. And that's Blue Chew. So why don't we do our ad read for Blue Chew?
Okay, Blue Chew it is. Let me tell you about Blue Chew. Blue Chew is the first chewable with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. You can take it anytime, day or night, empty stomach, whenever you're ready to go. Or you want to be ready to go, I should say. It's made in the USA and it's prescribed online by licensed physicians. So you don't have to wait in line or go to the doctor. And it's cheaper than any pharmacy that you probably can think of. They ship it right to your house. It's nice and discreet. So, not that you need to feel weird about getting some Blue Chew, but if you do and you want to keep it discreet, it's perfect. No hassle, no mess, and it's fast and easy, and it helps you get better confidence where it most counts. And we all know where that is because we are grown adults. Right. We like the North game. We don't like the South North game. North game. Yes. But anyways, we have a very special offer. If you go to bluechew.com, blue like the color, you put in black and gold, all caps, you get your shipment for free. Get your order for free and your shipment for just $5. Sorry, I started fumbling that. So it's a great deal. Go to bluechew.com, type in black and gold. You get your order for free. You just pay shipping and handling and $5 shipping and handling. It's a great deal. So basically, in Bruins terms, if you're trying to be the 2011 Stanley Cup champions, the only way to go is Blue Chew, because if not, you'll be left like you're the 2013 Bruins and you're leaving it on home ice in a minute and a half. And it's not impressive at all. And then you'll be scarred for the rest of your life. You don't want that. You want everyone to be fans of you. You want to be immortalized. No, I'm just kidding. But Blue Chew is a great product. I'm just being silly. Again, I'm having an off day. Can't get any wittier than that today. But in all seriousness, bluechew.com, black and gold, great product. And make your stick nice and wrapped tight up in there. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So we are moving on. We got
always awkward to move on. No, I'm just kidding. What do we have? Oh, actually, it's not awkward, except for we're going to talk about how Saturday the game was canceled because of COVID. Boys have to enter COVID protocol. We've got 5 players in quarantine, right? DeBrusque, Corrali. Well, Corrali missed the game before, right?
Yes.
I think he missed Tuesday. So DeBrusque, Creachy, Corrali, Smith, the second line from the other night, Corrali, and there's one more person. I don't know why it's not coming to my head. But anyways, the boys are now in self-quarantine. The 5 players traveled separate from the rest of the team, but everyone is back in Boston. Good God. We got COVID. Everyone's in self-quarantine mode. They have to all self-quarantine until Tuesday at least. That's why Saturday's game and Tuesday's game versus the Islanders, which, I don't really want to watch us play the Islanders anyway, so I'm all right with that. No, I'm just kidding. So an already packed schedule just got a lot tighter, and obviously the primary thing is the concern of the health. This goes back to the Thursday game, right? Because there had been a couple assumed positive tests, coach from Buffalo and Corrali for us put on the protocol. And should the teams had have even played on Thursday? I know you wanted to bring that up, that just, continuation from Thursday to Saturday. Now that we're talking about the COVID, do you think they should have, even with one on each side, have played on Saturday? On Thursday?
No. Jesus. I kind of think that if they didn't play on Thursday, that none of this would have happened. I don't know. I'm not the whole science guy and everything about this COVID. I don't know a ton of shit about it. I know it sucks and it's ruining my experience to watch my favorite Boston Bruins club. But it makes you wonder. A couple people on Twitter said the same thing. It's like, geez, should you have really played that game? And I don't know, maybe the NHL dropped the ball a little bit on this one. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's kind of confusing to me. On one hand, I understand Buffalo's already lost a lot of games played because of COVID. They had to be in COVID protocol for 10 days. It was they've gone through it. I am surprised. Like in retrospect, I'm really surprised they would have played the game, given the fact that the Bruins have had 2 players test false positive, and now one of them is back in protocol, right? So it makes me concerned, like, did DeBrusk or Coyle even actually have it? They got the false positive, and then they got a false negative because the tests aren't exact. One would think that they get the quick rapid ones, and then they get the bigger one if, it comes up. That's why they have to quarantine or whatever. But it does make you wonder the next day when there was a different player on the team or whatever that went into COVID protocol and one of the coaches, why would you maybe have those 2 teams interacting? You would think they would have just quarantined both teams, even for the 24 hours, because there was a day in between. They weren't playing until 1 on Saturday. Even if you quarantine and canceled Thursday's game, you quarantine the teams in Buffalo for the 2 days and see what's up for Saturday.
That makes sense.
We don't know. It could be that maybe they all had false positives. It could be one of them came up positive. Maybe DeBrusk, I just speculated, not saying he did. But like, for example, maybe DeBrusk tested positive again after he had the false positive. Then he had a negative. They let him play. Now him. So that would make sense. Now you're going to put Creachy and Smith because they're his line mates of the night on Thursday. Or right. So it could be some of just primary, secondary contacts. We don't know. It's not someone that maybe it's an arena worker had something and now that's why. But I haven't heard of more people on Buffalo being quarantined.
Right.
Except for that one coach. So that does kind of concern me.
Or staff member.
Staff member. Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't want anybody to get COVID generally, but I also these are the kind of things now where I almost wish this kind of stuff was happening earlier in the season. Not right now. Like the last thing we need. What if they keep these players can't play, and then we do get to play on Thursday or whatever next week, and now we have Creachy, DeBrusk. Like that's
scary thought.
And I obviously want everyone to be healthy too. So hopefully it's just maybe because close proximity. We don't know. Maybe it was a staff member in Buffalo. The boys happen to be exposed to and out of, we don't know who might have tested positive versus for if you're a primary contact, just like the rest of us in the world, right? If the health department calls you and is like, you've been exposed directly to someone who has it or whatever. So I don't know. It's just concerning to me, like health and schedule. I'm glad they're all back in Boston though, but now it sucks because they start getting momentum. From a hockey standpoint, they start getting momentum. They start getting their legs under them, as you say. And now who knows when they'll get to play again. Hopefully just Saturday and Tuesday are canceled and everyone's okay on the flip side, but it's scary. Yep. And I don't want poor Buffalo. They can't go through. They've having a bad enough season. They cannot have COVID come back through their area too. Like what if we brought it there? It's our fault that they're going to retro get it again. Like that'll be that poor team. I would, at this point, if I played in Buffalo, I would just burn the goddamn building down. Oh, can't work if there's no home arena. They can't make you go play in Toronto because the border's closed. So there you go.
Jesus.
Sorry. I don't know. I don't know how to lighten up COVID, but it is a little concerned the amount of players that are in quarantine. Yeah. But again, that could all just be contact or something like that. It might not be anybody actually has it. I guess they don't get out the info, but I guess we'll find out Wednesday morning for practice if they let them out of COVID protocol, who's in and who's out of COVID protocol. And on that upbeat note, let's give out our studs and duds of the week. And back to the Boston. All right, sorry.
Go ahead. You go first.
This is the weekly segment in which we give out our studs and duds of the week. I always have a hard time with the dud because I feel like there. So I think the dud of the week, at least for Monday's game, and even a little bit of, I guess, the rest of the games, is I'm still annoyed a little bit at team defense. So team defense on a whole, not the defense, but team defense. I know I wanted to give it to the power play a few times. I'm still just annoyed. I don't feel like, again, I understand and I have eyeballs and I know Yarrow played like crap on Monday, but he also could use a little back. When your goaltender's having a rough time, the solution isn't for you to play shittier up in front of them. Like the solution is they buckled it down as it went, but still, like I'm still a little mad. But my stud of the week, this was hard because I want to give it to David Creachy because I love him and he's got lots of points this week and he's doing David Creachy things even in the thing. But I'm going to give it to my boy Mac Reslick. I think he's earned it. He's really been in the last week or two coming into his own and showing why. And this is something we can maybe touch back on in a little bit. But he is showing why I think that him and McAvoy should just be the top line. I think if you had our top line of forwards and you had them as our top pairing D, that's the type of players you put on the ice that make other teams nervous. You know what I mean? And I don't think we have a lot of combinations that truly make the teams that we need to be nervous of us. We don't look like ourselves. We're not playing like ourselves. We're not. And I think that he really has. I think Reslick has really shown his stuff, maybe some of that veteran stuff. You know, you always think he's still, but he's not. He's one of the veterans. Like Grizz has been around a while. He's 27 or whatever, you know. But that's just my thought on that. So I'm giving Mac Reslick my stud of the week, and Bruins overall team defense still needs to wow me a little bit more. Like you're like the person who looked really good with like beer goggles, but now that I'm sober, I'm really being annoyed with you. I know you're better than this. You look like a hot mess. Your mascara is all streaky. Can we clean it up a little bit and move on? Go ahead.
All right, so my stud for the week is David Pasternak. I've been seeing some really good things about David last week. It's good to see him getting back into the point production. There was a little bit of a lull, not bad, but it was just a little bit of a lull previously to last week. But he's certainly looking good, and you know I do have to say praise for David Creachy and his 700 points. We talked about it earlier, but getting him more consistently makes the team better all around. So. That's my opinion on that. My dud of the week, and it's probably not going to be a very popular one, but it's Yaroslav Halak. Not overly. He got the loss last week, and he got a win last week. Okay, that's fine. He redeemed himself on Thursday against Buffalo, but he continues to struggle with that glove hand, and tracking it down is the most frustrating thing for me. On Thursday, on Monday against Pittsburgh, there was one shot that it did get deflected, and I understand what Raycroft's saying and so on. I totally understand it, but I could understand that if the play and the shot was coming a little closer. But this was far enough away that the Pittsburgh player put a shot on net, and it got deflected, and it went over his net. I still think there was enough time to say, oh, that's coming in a little higher. Move my glove up. I know the game's fast and everything, and this is coming from a beer leaguer for 30 years, but still, we've seen it mostly all season, and even last year he had trouble tracking the puck on shots that we all knew he could save. So something to work on, something I'm a little concerned about, but obviously the Bruins are not concerned about it if they're entertaining the thought of retaining him for a year or two of services. So just something that kind of got me a little riled up seeing that.
Yeah, Yarrow definitely has had a few rough games. I mean, he beat the save, not that but I think, like I was saying before, I think a little with Yarrow too is just he needs a rest too, and they still had to create a situation where it's a good time to bring Vladar in and to, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Get him up with them and whatnot. But I mean, I think Yarrow's going to be all right. But I do think, I mean, he gets his criticism this week. But definitely on Monday, the whole team can suck an egg because, like I said, he gave up 2 weak-ass friggin' goals in the first period, but you motherfuckers had like 49 shots on net and you got 1 in. Yeah. I mean, was that the number? But it was like I felt even worse when I looked at the shot total. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, that makes us even worse because it's not that there was no opportunity. It's just we couldn't. We need a net like 3 times as big. I don't know what's going on. Like, we have a lot of good people, a lot of people who put up a lot of shots, but it's just this team again continues to be confusing. It's like one game you score 4 goals on 25 shots, and then the next day you score no goals on 105 shots. I know that maybe that's a little hyperbole, but
that's all right.
Yeah, so.
And on that note, On that note, we're going to take our mid-show break and hear from the awesome Bruce Sullivan from Boston Sports and Music Memorabilia. He has some fantastic stuff, folks. Celtics, Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins, and music stuff, too. So he's got a really nice collection. He has private signings from players, most recently Brad Park, Phil Esposito, and I know that he's had Jerry Cheevers at his private signings. And we get all our jerseys from Bruce. So just to tee it up a little bit for April, we're giving away a Charlie Coyle jersey. So if you want to get involved in this, you got to go to patreon.com/Black and Gold Hockey Podcast and donate $1 per episode, and you get involved in this. And so we'll hear from Bruce, and we'll be right back.
Hey Bruins fans, this is Bruce Sullivan from Boston Sports and Music Memorabilia with our Black and Gold Memorabilia Moment. Hall of Famers Month continues, and we are showcasing jerseys, pucks, and photo displays from the greatest players of all time. First up, Hockey God Bobby Orr. You can get this 15x22 special edition autographed by Bobby for just $189. Or choose the massive 22x26-inch The Goal special edition for just $279. Or grab the authenticated Orr jersey for just $329. How about some items from our March 5th private signing with Phil Esposito? Grab the white style or gold style jersey, yours for just $149 delivered. Or choose the Esposito hand-signed dual authenticated puck for $65, or the 11x14 photo display for just $79. How about Hall of Famer Jerry Cheevers, the mask photo JSA authenticated for just $99. Or choose the white style or black style Jerry Cheevers Hall of Fame inscribed jersey for just $79. Or you can get your choice of Bruins authenticated jerseys. Coyle, Middleton, O'Reilly, or Sanderson, or even Johnny Busick, all your choice, just $89 delivered. For more information on our dozens of Bruins hand-signed pieces and for your chance to win free memorabilia each week, check us out at our Facebook page, Boston Sports and Music Memorabilia. Or email me directly at bostonsportsandmusic@gmail.com. And be sure to check right back here every week to the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. Let's go!
Hey, Bruins fans, we're back. We just heard from the awesome Bruce Sullivan from the Boston Sports and Music Memorabilia. Please go to his Facebook page. Send him an email if you see anything on that Facebook page that you might want to talk about and get pricing on. He's got some awesome stuff. Like I said, we do have a Patreon account, a campaign, that we do every week here. And one of the jersey giveaways every month is something that we get from Bruce, because he's a trusted person and does everything on the highest of trust, in my opinion. It's not one of those shoddy places where you get a hand sign something and you're not sure where it came from or if it's even signed by that person. But at Boston Sports and Music Memorabilia, you can have the trust in Bruce Sullivan to get that done and have everything documented on every signature. So check it out. Heather, we forgot to mention something last before we had our mid-show break. So why don't you bring it up right now?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like BU biased, but now that we've had another week with Grizz and McAvoy and seeing them together, and I don't remember the exact statistics, but Connor Ryan had tweeted out some crazy statistic about, we're always talking about 5-on-5 scoring. Can we just maybe, do you think, just call it a pair like it probably should have been? Because they're showing that, and I think I mentioned to you, that we don't have lines that are scary. So I guess I just want, should we just leave them as the top pair? Just leave them as the top pair and let everything else fall where it may in the bottom end. I just
how they're working right now is good. It's good to see, absolutely, and it's good to see that the next up mentality, even though Grizz has been in the lineup. But this is kind of a messed up condensed season when we're having more injuries than I believe we ever would have in the past, especially on the back end. But what are you going to do? Are you going to keep that line together? Would you keep that line together when Carlo and Lozon come back?
Yeah, I would just put Lozon with Carlo and see what happens. I do think like one of the things that drives me nuts about Cassidy is stop breaking things that aren't broke. You know what I mean? Like in an attempt to fix all the things that aren't working. And for me, you leave your sure shit there, right? Like I'm not totally against, say, flipping Bergeron and Creachy. I think you'd have the same results if you had Pasta. Like I feel like Creachy would be just as good of a center for them as Bergeron is, and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I do think that numbers don't lie when it comes to your back end, and the combinations don't lie. And you can try to force things. And I'm not saying like Lauzon and even Zabor, he played fine up with Charlie McAvoy, right? But I don't want McAvoy in, this isn't a knock on anybody, but if him and Grzelcyk, who have played together a while, they both know they played together on the same defensive system in college for a little, I know Grizz is a little older, but you know, like still like that, if it's working, wouldn't it be better for them to be a nice, solid, veteran-ish defensive pair to let those kids look at? Because maybe that will help, you know, Zabor will say with his offensive side that you say that there's a little more of with Carlo, who's used to working more with a quick-moving defense. And that Grizz, again, like Torrey and Grizz aren't the same player, but they have a lot of the similar, I get that. But at the same time, I don't want to create a situation where Charlie McAvoy went from being the one who was constantly mentored to having to be the constant mentor either. You know what I mean? Especially as we get deep going into a even more condensed schedule now. That's, I guess, my thinking is that maybe it's better for them to be solid and just say, this is how we're doing it, to redefine what it is to be the Bruins defense now.
It's a good thought, though, Heather. If they're getting consistency right now and we're seeing positive things, why not keep it going? Because the more chemistry these guys get together, they're going to get more consistent in their trust together. And I believe that going into a playoff series, first round, hopefully they get there. Fingers crossed that they get in the playoffs. Yeah. I think by having those lines a steady front first line on your defensive pairing is so important. And if you're going to continue to shuffle things around, it's not a good time to do that later on in the season or even headed into a playoff round.
Yeah. And I also think and I was saying this, we don't, even as a Bruins fan, there isn't a lot of our play that I'm scared of anymore. Like part of what makes the Bruins is people like, oh shit, we're playing the Bruins tonight. And it's not anyone's fault necessarily. You know, it's a transition year. We've had a lot of injuries. That's all excusable. But at the same time, if you can throw out Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak with Grzelcyk and McAvoy, I feel like that is kind of the combos that line up that teams still not because they I'm not saying they think we're weak and that we can't beat them, but just, I'm just saying maybe Washington's a little less scared of seeing how things line up against their people, because it is also obviously game to game. Maybe there are situations not, but I just feel like that's the scariest thing we got right now. The most consistent, scary thing we got, and you should ride it because we've been so inconsistent. It seems kind of silly. Even when Lauzon, I mean, I'm more than happy for Lauzon to come back and all of that, but just maybe him and Carlo are meant to be together, or maybe he's meant to be down on that third. Like we said, sometimes when you're the third pair, it's not a knock on you. It's just you need to have that third pairing to kind of knock it out the ballpark. You know what I mean? At those key moments or whatever. So, I mean, I guess just switch it up. But one of the things that drives me nuts, I feel like how you can't just get chemistry because you're all in the same locker room and have the same jersey on. Part of chemistry is actually the repetition of having the consistency of playing with the same people all the time. That's great. We all know how to run this drill. But if I'm not always running this drill with you or this combo with you, it does play out different when people are executing with different people. So it's just a thought I had. I'm probably wrong. I'm sure
it makes sense, though. It makes sense.
I'm sure someone will say I am, and that's fine, because after all, I'm not a GM. I am just a hockey fan that it has been wrong before, but I'm also right a lot. So I just don't gloat about it. I'm just saying, all right, but right now, you do your stuff. This is my weekly. Make sure, besides seeing what I see online, Mark, give us what's going on down in the system. We've had a few boys up with us this week, but what else is going on with the Bruins and whatnot?
even though the Boston Bruins have been incorporating some youth due to injuries and so on, and even if it's a thank you for your contributions, and we're seeing you down in the minor pros grinding away, we're giving you a game to boost your confidence and so on. It is what it is, but good things are still happening down in the Providence Bruins and the American Hockey League, the top minor pro affiliate of the Boston Bruins. There were 2 games last week. On Monday, March 15, 2021, at the New England Sports Center, the Providence Bruins beat the Bridgeport Sound Tigers by the score of 5-2. At the 1:19 mark of the first period, Brady Lyle scored his 4th goal unassisted. In the second period, at the 4:48 mark, Robert Lantoshi scored his 5th goal from Cameron Hughes and Jakub Lauko on the power play. In the second period, at the 11:41 mark, Pavel Shen scored his first from Ian McKinnon and Jorna Kampanen. In the second period, at the 12:07 mark, Tommy Cross scores his first goal since joining the Providence Bruins on a loan assignment, assisted by Robert Lantoshi and Brady Lyle. In the third period, at the 16:20 mark, Tommy Cross scores his second goal and in concession from Alex Olivier Voyer and defenseman Brady Lyle. That was it. So the Providence Bruins win 5-2. I'm not going to talk about the Bridgeport Sound Tigers goal scorers, but new member to the Bruins organization since the offseason, Callum Booth got the win, the first win in a while, and as a professional with the Providence Bruins, he got made 36 saves on 38 shots, and he was fantastic in that game. Really solid effort. But the second game of the week was yesterday at the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut on March 20th, 2021. And this is the beatdown that I was trying to talk about earlier. The Providence Bruins get a huge road win, 6-1. This was a great effort, an unbelievable effort by everybody. Paul Carey scored his first goal at the 18:45 mark of the first period. In the second period, at the 3:15 mark, Alex Olivier Voyer scores his second from Matt Philippe. In the second period, at the 15:06 mark, Joel Messner scores his first from Jakub Lauko and Cameron Hughes. In the third period, at the 3:58 mark, Samuel Asseline scores his 5th from Anton Bleed, who recently rejoined the team. And at the third period, at the 12:53 mark, Alex Olivier Voyer scores his second of the game and 3rd of the season from Ian McKinnon. And to round out the final goal of the game was Jakub Lauko scoring his 5th at the 15:34 mark of the third, assisted by Cameron Hughes and Robert Lantoshi on the power play. Kyle Kaiser was actually in net for this game. He got the recall from Jacksonville in the East Coast Hockey League, where he was 7-7, and I think he had close to, but not yet, 3 goals against average at like 270, 280, 290, somewhere around there. In a decent low, it's a higher than 900, but a decent freaking save percentage. But that's the East Coast Hockey League too, by the way. So they're going to get a lot of ups and downs in wins and losses and so on. But he came up and really looked freaking awesome, like he never left the AHL. So it's good on Kaiser to get his confidence boost right there, and good support because Swayman and Dan Vladar are up at the NHL level right now, taxi squad or 3rd goaltender. So really good effort from Kaiser, real good confidence boost. The kid was freaking injured so much last year, pretty much knocked out his first career pro experience. So good on him. The Providence Bruins, like I said, it was only 2 games last week. And in 14 games played so far, the Providence Bruins are 11-2-1, and they have 23 points, and they're just blowing everybody away. The Hartford Wolfpack have a 3-6-1 record with 7 points, and the Bridgeport Sound Tigers have a 3-7-0 record with 6 points. So they are just trucking this 3-team division. And it's crazy. They're just playing some really good hockey right now. And some players that I do want to mention who are basically on streaks or doing, good. Cameron Hughes, 2020 regular season, leads the team with 4 goals, 11 assists, 15 points in 14 games. He's currently on a 5-game point streak where he has 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points in that time frame. Forward Jakub Lauko has 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points in 13 games played. Point per player right there. And obviously, so is Cameron Hughes, but he's on a 4-game point streak where he has 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points in that time frame, and not streaking or anything like that. But do want to mention that Paul Carey, Captain Paul Carey, was currently on his last year of his 2-way deal with the Providence Bruins and the Boston Bruins. Scored his first goal of the 2021 season against Hartford yesterday in a 6-1 Providence win. But he's just been a really good complimentary player with assists. He's got 10. So, and he's off and on, not streaking or anything, but something to be said about the leadership that he provides to these young players, but also a player that can still put points on the board. So good on him for that. The Providence Bruins get back to work. There's only 2 more games left to go in the month of March. It's been a busy March. Not as busy as the Boston Bruins in the National Hockey League March, but close enough. The next game is Thursday, March 25th at 1 p.m. against the Hartford Wolfpack at the New England Sports Center. And the final game of the month is on Wednesday, the 31st at 1 p.m. Providence travels to Bridgeport to play the Sound Tigers. So that's it for the down in the system segment. So thank you very much for letting me offer my opinions about that. Took a bunch of takes, huh? Woo.
Hey, it is what I tell you. Just keep going. Look at that.
I got it.
It is. It happens. Anybody who's has ever had to talk in front of anyone knows sometimes your brain is just not lining up to what you're trying to do. Your mouth won't line up with your brain. Like in your head, it's working, but it's not. We've all been there. So thank you for, as always, keeping us informed. We try to, if you do live streams or you're just doing whatever, try to retweet it and get people if they can check in to check it out. But the P Bruins seem to be doing good. Lots of
so good. Great stuff coming out of there, man. I mean, even with the, I remember last week, I think it was Monday, or it was a game before that Mark Diver tweeted out the lineup, and they were actually playing with 10 forwards. Sorry, they didn't have a complete line on the 4th line because of the depletion above and all the injuries and so on. That they had to, taxi squad members and so on had to be with the NHL at the NHL level, and they still won. They still busted ass, double shifting, doing what they could to grind out a win. And that's what I believe Jay Leach provides such a really good role as a head coach, because he knows how much to push his players, how much they can take. And if they're not putting in 100% effort, he can readjust his lineup to make it work out, even if he had a full lineup or partial. So yeah, kudos to the coaching staff, to be honest with you, and the players down there that they're acting like sponges in this developmental system and trying to create a path to the professional level in the best league in the world.
Yeah, no, they do. I always try to watch Jay Leach's presser after the game. You know what I mean? To see on that level. I'm sorry. I just looked at myself like, oh my God, you're looking haggity today.
Awesome.
Facelift. I'm just kidding. But no, they're doing good. People have been popping in and out of the lineup with the big clubs looking good. So, which is good because we have a lot of people on the injury list and apparently COVID protocol list. And we may need more help. I don't know how deep they can go giving us players, but so Tuukka came across on the cap friendly onto IR the other day, and people and it's well, we know he's hurt. And obviously when you make $7 million, you need to, it's concerning to see that. But as of yesterday, Rask, Lozon, Carlo Moore, Kasha, who we've seen nor high nor hair. I think he skated a couple times independently, but not with the team. Kevin Miller, who I think traveled with them when they went to Buffalo and stuff, but he didn't end up playing. And Zach Senyshyn. There are different stages, of course, but I guess I just wanted to bring up, we know that we have a lot of hurt players, but it's concerning to have this many key people that you really want on your actual club going into a stretch of a lot of hockey games and a lot of little time. I know that doesn't make sense. I don't know. I just said that, but see, I flub it up too.
Yeah.
But
No, there is a lot of games coming up in the the rest of this month of March and even April. It's going to get even more, probably more condensed. So you just got to be prepared yourself for it and be ready for anything. And no matter who you play, whether you play a team that you're really good against this year in this new division, this MassMutual freaking division, or you're playing the freaking Islanders or the Devils again, you have to be prepared no matter what.
Yeah, even if you play the Sabres.
Exactly. Play the Sabres like you did on Thursday. Own them.
Don't play them like you do Jersey. Like, I don't understand. Jersey, like, I mean, we'll talk about it in a few minutes when we do upcoming action, but like, Jesus, New Jersey makes Buffalo's the new Detroit Red Wings. Like they finally, the Red Wings have a team to make them look not as much of a hot mess, even though they still are. Yeah, but I guess just like, yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because I'm getting a little nervous, and now we got COVID protocol going. So maybe it was more of a topic I thought of because I was a little panicky thinking, dear God, don't let them actually have COVID. I mean, which you don't want anyone to have anyways, but like, is this like they looked at somebody who had COVID because then now they've been exposed? Like, who freaking knows? And again, I do believe in patients' right to privacy. So it's between them, their trainers, and whoever needs to be in the HIPAA know. But hopefully everyone's okay. But yeah, just like I don't see Tenorti on this list. So I guess that's good that he's expected, yeah, even if he's, from that hit last week. But that was just something I wanted to bring up. So before, I know you have one that we're going to put in here. I didn't know about. So I listen to, as you know, 3 mazillion podcasts between history podcast and true crime podcast and hockey podcast. So one of my favorite hockey podcasts is called The Hockey Think Tank with Topher Scott and Jeff DeVecchio. Some of you might know Jeff DeVecchio's name, but he trains people who are going in the junior, like people who are on track to be the true professionals in the sport and stuff like that. But he also trains your boy Trent Frederick. And when I'm like, I need something that isn't like Hockey Central at noon or something. And I was like, I have to catch up on Hockey Think Tank. And lo and behold, 2 episodes ago on episode 148 was Trent Frederick, who apparently trains with Delvecchio. Great thing. So anybody, I know everybody loves Trent Frederick out there. If you want to hear a nice story, like a little bit more about him, hearing, from one St. Lou boy to another. But it was an interesting thing, an interesting interview to listen to. But so I just wanted to generally say, if you love Trent Frederick, which I know you all do out there, maybe give it a listen. If you listen to this podcast, you must listen to other podcasts, or you should. And that's a great podcast. They have all sorts of people, from like people who train little kids through people who are training the professionals, and just all different insights on how to build not just body wise or skill wise, but just like being complete human beings, with good work ethics and really working and bringing out the best from top to bottom. Also, like how to be the best coach you can be, things like that. So they always have someone interesting on, but go check out Trent Frederick. And that's that. That's a little mention for that. That's all I had. I'm
actually trying to find it now.
Yeah, it was like March 8th or something. So it was only a couple episodes ago. But yeah, also in queue is Brian Yandle. So they listen to a lot of different people. Go back and listen to that. But I guess are we gonna do that question that you said?
Hang on now. I'm trying to get the Think Tank podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shall I go on? I'll give them a rave review. I could give you other podcasts that I love to listen to while we're waiting. No,
Hockey Think Tank.
Yeah, the Hockey Think Tank with.
All right, I got it.
Topher and Jeff.
Subscribe.
There you go.
Nice.
Everybody do the same. You're sitting here watching us on YouTube. Take your phone.
All right. So, a friend of the show, Chris Blackie, he's one of the hosts over the Big Bad Bruins podcast. He was talking about trades. We're coming up to the April 12th trade deadline, and he saw a name that keeps coming back. I heard it a while ago. I thought that it might have been Ryan Getzlaf. And I was like hard no on that. Getsy's a freaking, he's a center. We have enough centers. We have enough centers that are not point producing on a consistent basis. Lately, they've done okay. Let's get consistent about it, though. But we don't need to add another center. Our need right now is a right winger. And if you're going to try to make a push to either make the playoffs or a long Stanley Cup run, you got to have everybody, especially on the second line. Somebody's got to be next to Creachy and so on. But Chris brought up a very good thing after I said Getzlaf, I don't want him. He's like, that's not who I'm talking about. He mentioned Ricard Raquel. So, and Ricard plays, I believe he's a versatile winger, left wing, right wing, which the Bruins are always like, they kind of breed, if you know what I mean. Like Trent Frederick's a center naturally, but they've moved him over to the left because I think that's how they see his NHL appearance, you know. And then once something happens with departures this next season, Trent could possibly go back to the, you know, it's just a mixed pieces kind of thing. But Chris Blackie says in a reply to me, which I screenshotted and I'm going to mention, he says a change of scenery might do him good. The Bruins wouldn't be taking on an expiring contract. Cap Friendly has him as making just under $3.8 million next season. His versatility could be a huge bonus for the Bruins, and I thought that was very well said. But is that the type of winger that this Bruins team absolutely needs? If you look at his stats, and it's not overly,
it's not overwhelming. I guess my concern with that is, one, why do we keep getting all of Anaheim's players? Why are they our trade partner? They're the only one who wants to trade with us. No, but I mean, his numbers, he's played 32 games. He's got 21 points. No one cares about plus minus, but he's definitely a minus. He does have, I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's like trading for a winger that is pretty much the same kind of wingers we already have. Like, I guess that depends on if anything else was facilitated in the trade, but I probably wouldn't trade just for him. He's not, like, if we're going to trade for a winger, it better be like a solid winger, someone with a little clout in their name and whatever. But as for pricing, he's just kind of I'm not saying he's not a good player. He's been around. Like, the one thing about him is he does have veteran, because he's, been playing in the league for a while. He was drafted in 2011, right? I think I looked up earlier by Anaheim. So he's got a lot of experience, but overall, he's kind of like a Craig Smith. Do you know what I mean? So to me, wouldn't be like, it'd be back on that wishing and hoping and praying, Now, that being said, sometimes, like Chris said, a change of scenery does wonders for a player. And
what I do like about his numbers is his career numbers.
Yeah, those are.
He's got 304 points in 479 games as a 27-year-old.
No, I agree. I was going to say his overall career numbers are pretty good, but I just was saying, like, in perspective this year, like, what could he maybe give us this year if we had to go and get him? But yeah, I mean, overall, he's solid. He must be pretty consistent. So that's just it. I mean, but I also just, if they're going to do it, something's got to be bigger than that. Do you know what I mean? Are we, like, what are we giving up for him? Because if we're just trading Anders Bjork for him, why don't I don't see.
But it's not a plan. It's not a bad plan B either,
Yeah, but like I said,
if you can't go after a certain somebody up here that's going to garner a lot to freaking change, and it's going to change your freaking your franchise, and you don't get them, Ricard Raquel down the list isn't that bad to go and target.
And I agree with that. But your primary thoughts at the trade deadline should not be about worrying about getting another third or fourth line wing.
That's a valid point.
Let's be honest, like the way that the team's playing this year. If DeBrusk isn't going to be Creachy's left wing, Nick Ritchie probably is going to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is what they've done. So it's not like if they go out and trade for a player like this. I do like versatile players, though, because part of the reason why you draft so many centers is because you can make them wingers potentially, because you only need you could always use more wingers than centers if you can lock down some good centers. But like I said, I just feel like being a Bruins fan is like it's Groundhog's Day, the movie. It's the same conversations all the goddamn time. They should do a trade. Do a real trade if you're going to do it. If not, I'd rather just finish limping through this freaking year and get through and see what we can do in the offseason. Because what was his term? Did you have his cap? Like, what is?
I don't.
Nah, I might look that up after, but I guess it's like what you come with it. But I don't feel like, yes, as an alternative, that'd be fine, but that's not who I'm primary trying to go out to get. If I'm trying to get a winger and I'm looking, I would rather try and spend more money and get a more productive, because what happens if we get him? And yes, he is a good, a decent player, but like I said, I don't need another Craig Smith unless they're going to actually be doing what they consistently have done. Like, this is kind of a freak year for Craig Smith. He's usually much more consistent in his production. And maybe this guy's the same way, but I don't know. I would rather at this point either from my standpoint, either finish limping through this year, good, bad, or ugly. Like, we're fourth again. We're not going to play a couple games, but we have a good cushion with Philly below us. If we can keep in, maybe we can get some people in the next few weeks and then be ourselves. But I also would rather blow that shit up in the summer where you might have a little bit better options playing with some free agents that, again, like last year's class, might not be getting as much money as they think they might be getting for their services. So that's just me.
And Black and Gold hockey podcast writer Mike Creachy threw out an interesting one. I'm just going to add this to it, just a little more content for the listeners. But he said he saw the following reader submitted a trade proposal in Craig Custon's latest Athletic article. And Creachy says Jake DeBrusk and a 2021 second-round pick for Kyle Palmieri. What do you think about that? And I mind you, Kyle Palmieri is set to be a free agent this offseason. So is it? I feel like we talked about this a while ago. But
we talk about Kyle Palmieri all the time.
I know, but is it safe to trade assets for somebody you could just outbid during the off season coming up?
I think if you're going to do it, I don't feel like Kyle Palmieri wants to be a Bruin, or he would have already been a Bruin, as much as you or I and maybe some other people for his versatility and other reasons and just, kind of style of play might want him here. But I would for a Kyle Palmieri. But that being said, before that happens, I need to know that you've already talked to him about what he might want to do on the off season. Are you looking for a new home? Maybe we can come up with a reasonable 2 to 3 year deal. See if you like it here. Something sweet, but not. I think it would be good for Kyle Palmieri to be surrounded by some other superstar. Not saying like he's the superstar of superstars, but he's got a lot of talent on a team that is not the most talented team as a team. Even though there are good players. That might be good for him. It might be something that he's looking into. I just would like a little guarantee. That being said, this is the first year in a long time that we've had all our draft picks. And we picked up Toronto's 7th round draft pick as well. So I think we have 2 in the 7th this year, if I'm correct. I don't know. Don't quote me on it, but I think this year we have them all plus Toronto. So if you're going to give it up, not the first round, but I would give up a 2nd round pick for Kyle Palmieri. But again, not just circle Brown, but I would like a little guarantee that he'd seriously consider, like Sweeney's already kind of given him what a future deal might look like come
almost like a sign and trade, right?
Yeah. Or Kyle Palmieri might just want a real shot at the playoffs.
Yeah.
That might be enticing. Just
little dig to the Jersey Devils like an organization.
So, I have a soft spot for Devs. I'm not like trying to kick them when they're down, but they know they suck. They can see how they play, and we lose to them. So really, like, I'm not throwing stones because you can beat up my team who's supposed to be better than you. That's interesting. I guess I'd rather make a bigger move for like a Kyle Palmieri, but like you said, those players never seem to want to come here for whatever reason it is.
Well, because they're not traded here. They don't sign here. It's not. Palmieri's been under contract for the longest time, so it's not like that he went to free agency and said, hey, you're not making me an offer that I can't refuse, so I'm not going to Boston. So he's been under contract for the longest time.
No, I know, but I understand. But he's always trade bait, like every year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Jersey might be willing, like they have to. But I also saw someone said like PK Subban. I don't need PK Subban.
Yeah, I saw that
hate
too.
PK Subban. And you know what? If it was PK Subban 8 years ago, then whatever. I mean, we need defensemen, and he was solid friggin' Norris candidate then. But I don't need this nowadays. PK. That's like saying,
PK also comes with a heavy price tag too. To the end of his contract right now. So I don't know if that's
it's hard to tell.
Friendly.
Because as always, we come back to we need forwards and defense.
Definitely.
And it's hard to tell what you want to spend the money on. Do you know what I mean? Yep. I feel like our young D, I think we need help now, but I wouldn't go and spend $1 million on a defenseman. Well, at the same time, I think we have enough, people like a Raquel or whatever, or what's his name? Raquel. Sorry, I said his name wrong. Sorry, Raquel. I was like, sorry. I feel like we have enough of those type of players already in the system. Like, do we need to go get him, or maybe we could pull up someone else if necessary? I don't know.
For me, if you're going to go out and get a defenseman, you do it with term. Don't do it as a rental. I'll be freaking bullshit if you give up assets to get a defenseman in here to try to do the winning thing, and then either you don't win and he doesn't like that and sign somewhere else, or they don't lock him up. I really think that having that at least 1 year to negotiate and see if the team is going to be comfortable for longer term is always beneficial. So I hate the rental idea.
Yeah, I don't really like rentals either way. Like, very rarely does a rental lead to hoisting a cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Not just here, but anywhere.
Some asshole's going to come out there and say, well, Caberlet did it. Oh God.
Of course. Well, I would argue that he is an elite player, and that's why those things don't happen a lot. I don't know. I just feel like we're stuck as an organization. And this, again, I get everyone thinks that they're the freaking GM of this team. Unlike a lot of the crazy fan base, I know it's only my stupid opinions. No, like, that's what I mean. Like, I know it's my own crazy, like, in my own head, whatever. I get, like, I don't know shit compared to the people who actually make the decisions. But it seems to me, if you're always having the same conversations, again, we need to maybe give up on the fact that all of our little toys are going to be great, wonderful all-stars in the future, and use them to help make the ones that really are become those all-stars.
Right.
Make this team not totally fall off the cliff. Like I said, I feel like this season we're like going towards the cliff and we're pulling back. Going towards the cliff.
Yeah,
awesome.
roller coaster.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
but it's the same roller coaster every year. Like, as a fan, I'm sick of talking about Creachy's wingers. I'm sick of talking about secondary scoring. I'm sick of talking about how we could have had a better plan for the defense to start. Again, and that does not a knock to not let Lozano Zaboro come in, but have a backup plan for exactly when this happens. When your backups get hurt, like, great, maybe you don't love John Moore, but not having John Moore as an option is a fucking problem at this point. Like, do you know what I mean? We at least need him and Camphor and them as our options to help come in and at least not cause damage. Again, be a warm body that, I mean, I don't know. That's just me. But
let's talk about the upcoming games.
Yeah, sorry, Chris. I don't know. People drop these things on us, then my brain goes down the hole. So Tuesday was supposed to be the home opener. March 23rd was supposed to be the home opener, but it is now canceled. So sucks to be you if you got tickets. I feel for you. I'm very sorry.
Bruins Luchador had tickets to that game. Oh, and I felt so bad for him. Sorry, dude.
Oh my God, Luch. Fucking sucks. We need you in there. We need Luch on the screen. They need Luch on the screen.
He was so pumped for like 2 weeks that he was going to the game, and all of a sudden it's just like, I just feel for him.
Yeah. So if everything goes right, Thursday the 25th, we're going into a long home stretch right now where we'll be home for a while, which I guess is good given the COVID situation. They don't have to travel out of the city after they get released. Hopefully we play the Islanders. I feel weird saying that. On Thursday, the 25th would be great at home at 7 p.m. at the TD Garden. We also are supposed to play on Saturday, the 27th versus Buffalo at home. Saturday, the 27th at home in Buffalo, and Sunday, the 27th, play New Jersey at We're at home. I don't know why I'm saying in Buffalo. You guys know what I mean. Saturday and Sunday, Buffalo, New York. They're weird start times, though. We've got like a 5:30 on Sunday, and there's the 1 p.m. game on the Saturday for the matinee. Again, I don't know who thought that the national team would want to watch Buffalo, but that's fine. No, I'm just kidding. They're a great hockey market. But those are who we should be seeing. Again, the Islanders, I don't know, they're just a mysterious team. Like, they're second now. They had been first for a little. They're tied with Washington. We can't seem to beat them. But if we play them, that's a hold your breath game. We can beat them. And we know that Buffalo's a dumpster fire, and Jersey is slightly above a dumpster fire, but at least they're like, I'm not Buffalo. But New Jersey beats us. I don't know why a team with a 429 point percentage can beat us, but that's because the Bruins are magical and they know how to be awesome and mediocre at the same time. It's like weird. Yeah. So that's it. Any thoughts on the upcoming games besides God? I hope they get to play games.
Yeah. Hopefully they get back and get it done. I know a couple guys at work have tickets for the Thursday game, so we'll see. But
it's like breaking my heart, man.
I know.
Finally, we're gonna have fans, and there you go.
I really hope that this stretch of off days that just occurred to them is not going to be a downfall when they do return, if they do on Thursday, because we know how this team reacts to coming back from a long period off. Yeah, so
4 days off, it's the killer.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is. And we had it's always Buffalo. I feel like it's always Buffalo because before we had the Buffalo games had been canceled, and then that caused that big gap, and then we lost, I think, probably to stupid Jersey or something when we did come back.
Right.
Now you got me worried. I don't want to be worried. I want everyone to be healthier and more rested and come back and hopefully get some people in. But also upcoming action this week, I would like to remind everyone before we get into the home stretch of this bad boy, the NWHL is going to conclude their shortened season. They tried in Lake Placid on NBC Sports and on the Sports app. They play on the 26th and 27th semis. Again, our Boston Pride will be playing on March 26th versus the Toronto Six at 5:00. And then later in the day, the Whitecaps and the Connecticut Whale will play respectively. Whoever wins gets to play for the Isabel Cup. Go Pride. And very exciting women's hockey national broadcast. What are you laughing at?
Look at the sports app.
And DNC. I didn't even know this.
It just shows that's proof just what a shit show this.
Okay, for those of you who are listening on the podcast, Mark has what I was saying, but says BNC Sports app instead of NBC. So if you're like, what are these idiots laughing at? Wrong. Just remembered you can't see it. Yeah, that's funny. At least do you notice how I didn't even try and say NBCSN because I always end up seeing Exactly. So I just said NBC Sports instead, like I should anyways. Yeah. So anyways, go Pride.
Yes, absolutely. It's good to see these ladies getting back on the ice, getting it done. Last year, COVID ruined the Isabel Cup, and I thought that the Pride were going to have a real strong chance of winning after a 21-1 season. So hopefully they get this done.
I would like to see Minnesota and Boston for the final too. Not that that's not all great hockey things. I'm not trying to diss the Toronto Six, but
right.
They'd be like the Vegas Knights. They just walk in and suddenly they're in the finals. No, I'm just kidding. They're the number 1 seed. But yeah, I think that'd be fun. And it is at the Warrior Ice Arena. So I think that's important to mention that the Bruins, they're not hosting, but they're using their rink. I think that speaks a lot to how well they.
That's where they play all the time.
The Boston. Well, what I mean, though, is that to finish the tournament in Boston, have all 4 teams come in. That speaks a lot to the Warrior Ice staff and, how well that when the Pride and the NWHL are there, how well it goes, I think is good. And it's good. It's a good space. We've been there, right? It's intimate. It's intimate, but there's plenty of room that, especially with no fans in the stands or anything like that.
Exactly.
Certainly can accommodate there. So pretty cool. All right. Well, I think that's it. Hashtag AskBNGs. Last week, 855 questions. This week, just a few, but always.
I found 3 of them. I thought we had 2, but I found 3. So I'm going to head over to.
Oh, good. This ought to be good. I only saw 2. No, I'm just kidding.
So this one is from Manny, and Manny Cardona asks, Hashtag AskBNG. If you could be a GM, what moves would you do to make the team better?
Well, we kind of talked about this. I think if you're, I just hold like, I don't know exactly. I don't know everyone's cap per this and that, terms off the top of my head. But in a whole sense, I feel like we just need to make one big move, not a stupid move where we trade our first round draft picks for the next 800 years for a mediocre winger that may or may not help the team. But if you're going to make a move, make it count for a Kyle Palmieri or a big defenseman or whatever. Sell the ship on it. We do have a lot of just not like baggage. I don't mean to call them like that, but we have a lot of people in our system that can do the same thing. We have some assets that look good. Like right now, you might be able to, I don't want this to happen, but like Lantosi looks better on, to kind of having in your system than Jake DeBrusk at time, using what we do have. I'm not saying I want to give up Lantos. I just want to make that perfectly clear. That was not what I was implying at all. But like just saying we do have some good, we can't keep all our prospects and they're not all going to make the team. So we need real help. Use it to get a defenseman. Like you said, maybe give up a second round draft pick, something. They don't need to get crazy. We like picking late in the draft anyways. So second or third rounder, I'm not giving up second and third round. Cause like I said, I'd rather limp through and see what the frig we can replenish in this weird draft, but also these kids popping up a little or seeing, I mean, it's a weird season to say, but I'm not selling the farm for the same freaking crap we already have either. That's just nonsense. Yeah. I don't know, Manny. I know that's the short order. I don't know the whole list who could be, and maybe nobody really can. It's hard to tell because you think teams are going to be selling because nobody has any money and everybody needs to get better. But at the same time, that also means if you're a team that has a lot of money, you can probably fleece a lot of teams that are desperate. So it's hard.
For me, if I was the GM right now, and it's probably so unrealistic, but if it worked, it would kind of be genius in my opinion. And I know folks are not going to like this, but we need a right winger, and I think we need to address that now. And I do know that we need a defenseman. So why not the Bruins go at Detroit, who might be seemingly in a rebuild, and trade Charlie Coyle and a first round pick to the Red Wings for Anthony Mantha. So here's the thing is Charlie Coyle's got longer term, while Anthony Mantha's only got 3 years left, or maybe 2 after this one. I'm not sure. So the contract's not very comparable as in length, but it is when you think about the money because you're swapping one out for the next. The other thing is we're we're not strong, but we do have a plethora of centers that are coming through the system, i.e. Jack Studnicka, some Providence players down, plug and plays down there could fit in, as well as, the youth has been going into incorporated this year. So I don't know. It's just something that I want to see the right wing done, and Mantha is a consistent 30-goal scorer. The kid's a freaking monster, man, and he plays a really good heavy game along the boards, and I think he'd be a solid fit. The reason why I don't think it's going to go is because of the fact is that Charlie Coyle is so streaky, pointless. When he goes pointless, it's long periods of time, and I don't think that'd be very attractive to Steve Yzerman and the Detroit Red Wings, but if that had to happen and you had to sweeten it up, would you throw in a Jake DeBrusk too and a first round pick just to get Mantha? I don't know if that's going to absolutely work, but
I wouldn't give DeBrusk and a first round pick. If you're giving DeBrusk too, you're getting a second round pick. So I guess it all really, that situation, not a bad choice to maybe go after, but I also think it depends on what Stevie Y is thinking. He needs Mantha. Like he's one of his only good pieces. Like, are you building this team around this? Like trying to appease these players and Larkin and all of them, and this is going to be your rebuild team? Or they've been rebuilding for like 7 years. So
yeah,
poor Red Wings fans. Jeez and crow. But really it depends on what he wants. Like, because he doesn't fuck around. Like he might say, I mean, DeBrusque is great, but can you guarantee me he's going to show up? Like, he might want, but I don't think that. I'm more likely, I think, for myself to want to give up a couple players and keep our draft picks, or give up a lower draft pick than to even fuck around with the top pick. Like, we haven't had it in so long. Like, we need it. The last time we really had our first round draft picks was just like a plethora of picks was when we drafted the 2015 draft. We haven't had a lot of high end picks since then because we trade our first and second rounds like they're candy sometimes in certain deals that don't ever seem to work out for us. So I would like to avoid that, but that's not a bad suggestion. But at the same time, like I said, Stevie Y might be like, no, I need to retain these 5 players are supposed to be the basis of going forward. But I don't know. They got rid of Athanasio or whatever his name is there. What's his name?
Athanasio.
Yeah, last year. And I didn't think they were going to do that either. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I still think there's enough time before the trade deadline. If you're going to try and go out and get a Palmieri or a Manta or something, that you have to have a negotiation now. But I don't really see a lot of people reaching out to us for things that we have that they want either. And that's part of the problem, I think, why nothing works out. Go ahead.
Let's jump on the second one. This is from the Nook the Bitch. 2-part question. Again, sorry. He loves these. Since the outdoor Philly win, the Bruins have gone 5 wins and 7 losses, played 12 games in 24 days, with the last run of 6 games in 9 days. Do you think this hiatus due to COVID will help the team regather themselves for, I can't see the bottom.
Yeah, for the final run of the season.
Okay. So, interesting question. Lot to unpack there. I don't know. I think that They're just got to get consistent. They got to get healthy. I think those numbers will change around once some of those things happen. Probably not the best reply. I'm sorry, Nanook. But that's from me.
Yeah, I hope it helps give them pause and, rest and whatnot. It also concerns me because whenever we've had a lull in play, we play like shit, whether people are healthy or not.
Right.
And I don't mean to keep swearing, even though, I love swearing, but I mean, these are descriptors that describe how we've been playing a lot of the last since the Philly game in Tahoe. And I guess I can just say that I hope so. I hope we get a few more players back because, again, people are at different stages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come in. We need help. But if they come out and they play like yuck versus if they get to play the Islanders on Thursday or whenever they get to play, something's got to give. And then you are talking, I'll give you this, and that for that, because either a wake-up call wise or just if it's going to persist this way, if we look like we're not going to stay in the top 4, we really are going to have to go and make an attempt. I'm not saying cut both our arms off, but maybe have to sell one kidney to get something done. And that might be all right if it works out, but it makes me nervous because ever since that Rick Nash deal, which was the perfect thing that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then
exactly. That was the Nathan Horton that we needed.
Yeah, I know. David Creachy, I swear, why can't they get you wings? You deserve wings. You are the 8th top point getter or whatever. You deserve wings.
All right.
You think David Creachy sees the feedback and is like, dude, I'm not fucking magical. Like, how magical do you expect me to be? Go ahead. Sorry.
This is the second part of the question. Or has the hiatus due to COVID potentially stiffed a good run to the turn of the corner? Whoa. The feedback's like actually bothering me. I don't know. Heather, can you read that? Because I'm getting feedback on my end.
Yes, I can. So the second part of the question, or has the hiatus due to COVID potentially stifled a good run to turn the corner on a difficult set of results and maybe the confidence boost for the team after a 4-1 win against the Sabres as they missed out on playing them again? Like getting that second win against them and getting that confidence boost. I do that. Like I just said, I think that's what worries me really in the end is they finally get a couple wins in a row. It was the first time they had strung 2 wins together in a row in 5 weeks or whatever, 4 weeks. And now, who knows? Now the downtime. I don't want people getting rusty. We know they can't even practice until after Tuesday, maybe. That's
Right.
what concerns me. Like having the downtime before they needed the break because they were playing kind of in between crazy things. Now they had a couple game momentum and now they can't even practice. So at least they're not even together to kind of try and work out the bugs and stuff. And I guess that's kind of concerning. Is just the downtime and actual productive, at least skating that's going to happen over this 4-day, 5-day break or whatever it is. All right. Well, thank you as always. Great questions, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Certainly appreciate that. All right, the feedback's on. That's good.
Thank you, Manny, too.
Yeah, thank you, Manny, and I really appreciate that. Hopefully, we tried our best to get these answers out. It's been a tough show so far. So, this week in Bruins history, I have a couple actually. Some of them are from the great Mike Comito, which I absolutely love. And I didn't know he wrote a second book that came out in late January. So go check it out. It's another Hockey 365. I think it's the second edition. But regardless, on this day in 1937, Boston's Milt Schmidt, Woody Dumart, and Bobby Bauer played together for the first time. The trio would form the famous Kraut line. That's awesome. I love Bruins history.
Yay. I love me the Kraut line.
Yeah. On this day in 1991, Quebec's Ron Tugnut made 70 saves in a 3-3 tie against the Boston Bruins. It was the second most saves in NHL history. I remember this game. That was unbelievable.
Tugnut.
And in that same game, Ray Bourque had a night of his own. He was credited with 19 shots on Tugnut, an NHL record. Absolutely crazy.
It was the Tugnut Bork show that night.
Yes.
Ooh, that was hard to say together. I didn't anticipate their names not blending quite as well as I thought they were going to in my mouth. Well, thank you for all the hashtag BNG questions. And thank you. This has been a show. I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. I hope it's still enjoyable. I mean, if anything, hopefully our wit will come through.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. As I always say, leave a rating and a review. Thank you for always listening, even if you hate half of what we say. Even if you hate us and you keep listening, I appreciate that. But if you could leave a rating and a review, just let everybody know.
Please do.
And go to blackandgoldhockey.com. Lots of great articles, podcast networks, blah, 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 blah. We're awesome. I mean, look, I'm an egomaniac. I could sit all day long and say how awesome all the writers are and the podcasts are because it ain't fucking lying. So go listen. If you're not, please, if you're already doing all this, share with your friends. I feel like we have enough to offer, even if you're not a Bruins fan. Go out there and there's something, for hockey fans. I think that we have a great balance of all those things. Go and do that. Rate and review. Follow him. Follow me if you can see it. If not, it's Black and Gold 277, Inga the Big Mouth, and also at the Black and Gold Pod. And Mark, take us home, Patreons and stuff.
Yes, we have a Patreon campaign going on where you donate $1 per one of these episodes. The information is below. Please sign up because we do kind of like a prize thing. When you sign up, you are eligible for a weekly prize every week that we do a recording. Or we might do 2 extra recordings, who knows? But you'll be charged under $10. Let's just say that, right? Per month. Right now, we're only doing 4 episodes, so it's $4 per month. So it's a very, very minimal cost to help us run a sports media program. And for that, we take half of the money and buy jerseys. So once a month, we give away a jersey. This is a Charlie Coyle jersey, and this is going to be given away next month. This is the April jersey. So every week, we give away a prize, a Bruins-related prize. And this week, it's a Wayne Cashman hand-signed puck with a COA that comes along with it. And this week's winner is the awesome Marlene Daniels. Congratulations, Marlene. I will get your information as soon as possible and get you your signed puck. But if you want to be eligible for a weekly giveaway and a monthly jersey giveaway, please go to patreon.com/Black and Gold Hockey Podcast and donate just $1 per episode to be eligible.
Thank
All right.
you.
We want to thank everybody, friends, family, for the shares, the retweets. You guys have been amazing as always. I love you guys, and this is the part of the show where we like to recognize our listeners and our favorite peeps. So our Patreon members are awesome. We have like almost 40 now. That continues to grow, so we're just gonna keep rolling over and buying more shit. So it's awesome. But speaking of crap, we're gonna end this one. This was a tough one to do today. We just I don't know what the problem was. I was amped up to do it, but my words were fumbled as usual, more than lately. But
well, no, I feel like our energy level is good. I feel like we wanted to be the best we could be, but I don't think either of us are joining the army anytime soon because the execution. But again, thank you everyone for listening to us, good, bad, and ugly, and sometimes ugly, but hopefully not so hard.
We will end that right here. Thank you very much, everybody. Peace out. We'll talk next week. Hopefully, no COVID freaking postponements. We get back onto the ice on Thursday this week and Saturday, I believe. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about it next Sunday when we record episode 222. So Mark Allred here for Heather Ingerson. Peace out, everybody, and be safe.
Bye. Thanks again for listening to and supporting Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. Please share the show with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to and leave a 5-star rating for the show on your favorite podcast platforms such as Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Between shows, help us keep the Bruins talk going by visiting our website, blackandgoldhockey.com, by sending an email to blackandgoldhockeyblog@gmail.com, and by following the show on Twitter @blackandgoldpod.
Peace out.